Hello, everybody. Welcome to Whimsicraft episode 13. Today we're starting off with some progress. I think a while back I mentioned that I didn't like how this river looked, and just spent a stream fixing it. Very simple, just kind of threw down some gravel, dirt, there's a bit of coarse dirt mixed in too, and I'm really happy with how it's turned out. Especially with shaders where it's just a bit subtle. I'm a really big fan of that. You can see that this muddy area has been kind of changed a little bit, and yeah. So last episode we kind of worked more in this area. We built this lovely fallen tree, and if we hop ourselves over here, if we don't get stopped by every single leaf in the place. We also did some work over here, and especially down this edge. This stuff I'm quite happy with, how it's come together. However, making the thumbnail of the last video was pretty tricky because I didn't do any of the back of the build. So that's what we're going to be tackling today. And I think it's going to be a pretty simple job of kind of spreading what we've already done over to this way. Because we're quite limited in space, you can see we've only got like 10 blocks or so of width to really work with. I don't think I'm going to do anything particularly special with this area. I think there's an opportunity for a fallen tree across this place. I think that would be very, very cool. However, of course, I would ask Mr. Crumster. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. So yeah, I think it'd be quite good if we just jump straight into our time lapse, just kind of make some basic progress with the forest floor, put a couple of trees and see how it's feeling, that kind of thing. One thing that I have been attempting to do is if we come up here, I've been trying to have some like patches of similar trees. So here there's an area that's dominated by oak. Over here there's an area that's actually got quite a few of the spire oaks. And I think I want to do a similar thing over here. I think potentially, again, including quite a lot of spire oaks might be quite cool. Considering they're already built, it seems a shame to take them down, replace them with a different tree or something like that. Anyway, let's get into a time lapse. I'm very close to you. Let's get into a time lapse. Let's go. Hey everyone, I just want to quickly address some broken continuity in this video. As you can see, I've got diamond armor suddenly. Yeah, I died, lost everything, so some time lapses and interactions will be kind of messed up with continuity. Yeah, I didn't think it would happen, but we're in diamond. Anyway, let's get into the first time lapse of the episode, I think. I don't know. I'm recording this quick so I can get on with stuff. Anyway, let's go. Some really nice progress has been made over here. It wasn't like a massive set of time-lapse, you know, I'm just kind of breaking up the time-lapse a little bit to have a yap, because, you know, that's what I like to do. So far, I think we've got something really, really nice. I'm a big fan of the mix of blocks that we've got, and essentially what I did is I just took some, like, mental screenshots of the distributions of blocks we've got over here, and just try to copy and paste it over here. Obviously the river's a little bit narrower here, so we're a tiny bit more restricted on things in the water, but other than that, I'm a really big fan of how this looks. That means that the next thing is, of course, trees. So we're just going to hop straight back into time-lapse mode, and we're going to get some trees up. Lots of oaks, and I think some pines round the back will be nice, because obviously when I look at my base, I'm looking at it from this angle, because, you know, it's the best angle. Crumbs stuff in the background, you know, all of that stuff. So yeah, I want to get some really nice pines around the back to really get the vibe going. Now, one thing that I wanted to do was have a tree that has fallen across the water. I thought that would be a really, really cool thing to add. However, of course, this land doesn't belong to me, so I guess I'll have a yak with Crumb at some point and see if we can organize something cool. I'm still not sure what his plans are exactly over here. I don't know if he's talked about it too much. But yeah, hopefully we can get something going. If it is, we're definitely going to have a pine tree. It's going to fall across here. We might use a spire oak. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, let's hop straight back into time-lapse. When I'm building a base like this, I feel that atmospherics is the most important part of it, and that's why I often take very frequent breaks in building to just have a look and an explore. And this time I thought I'd bring you guys along for the ride. So basically what I've got here is just the oak trees in, as you saw in the time lapse. That's all I built at the current moment. And the atmospherics to me are coming along very well. Obviously I've thrown some shaders on to make everything look pretty, but it looks pretty great without them too. But yeah, I think basically we're very monochromatic at the moment. We've got a lot of green, a lot of brown, but we haven't really got any of the other types of trees. And to get the vibe that we need to think carefully about which trees are going to go here. Because if I swoop up in the air real quick and I look back here, you can't see the oak trees that I've just built. They're too small. You can't see it. So instead what I want to do is I want to be quite picky and do a lot of these tall spruce trees. And I need to figure out exactly where I want them to have an even distribution of trees that looks natural but also a bit random because that's how forests grow. But I think having them here and here, maybe one over there as well, will be nice. But yeah, I think this is going pretty well so far. I think the amount of light that we've got happening in this like actually covered area is pretty good. The vines are growing nicely, and yeah, I think this is a good start. But of course we've got more to do, and yeah, this time lapse is going to be more focused on the spire oaks, nope, that is completely the wrong tree, the Scots pines here, these ones, and should look great. Alright, let's get back to it. Now this is unacceptable. Look at this, they put crosses on everyone's shops. What is this? Evil. Come on, the shops aren't that bad. They sell useful stuff. And they're profitable as well, like come on. Not approved by SOA. You know what's not approved by SOA? Me. And I don't care, it's time for me to fight back. I don't care if it's me against 100. I'm going to take down these crosses. And if they come back and they keep tearing them down until something happens. Alright. And yeah, more roads are appearing. Terrible. More crosses, look at this. So many more crosses. Hate it. I don't care if the SOA has claimed an area. They don't own anything. It's time for me to fight back. Let's go. Down with the SOA. You are powerless. I will fight. Alright guys, this is a little fun detail that I've added to this area. This is a circle of mushrooms, as you can see. And yeah, it's called a fairy circle, or a fairy ring, which is essentially a formation of mushrooms that happens when they start as one and then kind of kill the bit of soil there, so then slowly grow outwards in a circle, and they can get quite big. And they look something like this. Of course, we've got a couple of mushrooms missing, but that's kind of how it looks like. And yeah, that was a fun little detail to include. However, of course, what you guys really care about is the progress that we've made over here. And honestly, I think it looks really, really nice. Oggy is online, so hopefully she'll sleep in a second. She's pretty good at sleeping, it's very handy. But yeah, I think we've made good progress once again. This time I've added in a bunch of ferns and grass and stuff. Wow, would you look at that? But yeah, no, I've added a bunch of like grass and ferns and leaves in, and it's really, really got the vibe how I want it now in this area, which is amazing. I'm super happy. Ooh, this angle's nice. Sorry, when I do builds like this, I always try and like walk around and try and look at stuff in different angles, and this one is particularly good. I'm quite fond of this. But yeah, basically why I kind of paused the time lapse at that point was because we've got this like cool little like peninsula bit almost. If we zoom out, you can see it kind of juts out a little bit outwards, and I feel like we need something cool here, something a bit different, whether it's simply just like a fairy ring or a fallen tree. But I don't think either of those are going to work, and the reason why is the fallen tree I'm going to put here. If I end up deciding to have one, I think here is the perfect spot across this way. So here I think we can go with something new. And I think the something new should be some flowers. That's one thing that we haven't included in this build at all. I think generally in forests, flowers grow in little patches. And I think now is the time for a cute little patch of flowers. We do have a couple of options, which I will quickly show you and we can explore. I'm going to turn shaders off though, because we're just going inside the house. It's not particularly pretty. If I go down here and look in here, I've got a couple of options. So I think Lily of the Valley is a really nice choice. I can just place them on the floor. I think they're quite subtle. They're of course very cute flowers. And the only thing about them really is they're quite bright green. I'm pretty sure all the flowers are like that. But we can place down some other flowers and have a look. I'm not so fond of the Azure Bluette, and the reason why is because of the yellow. I feel like yellow isn't a colour that we're using at all, so it might be a mistake to include it. Of course we have other flower choices. Cornflowers and poppies are an obvious choice to include. But when I'm trying to think of like native flowers to include, and the thing about Lily of the Valley is, by themselves, lilies of the valley aren't really particularly native to British forests. However, they look really like snowbells, which are really common. So this might be a good choice for us. Cornflowers and poppies don't really grow in forests either. Forests are not a particularly good place for flowers in general, so it's quite rare, but I feel like this might be a good choice. And if I'm not particularly fond of it, I might go with some cornflowers because the colours are quite dull. The blue is not particularly eye-catching. Like if I just threw down a dandelion, it's so eye-catching, it's crazy. However, rose bushes are something that they're technically like the correct thing to include, but I feel like they're just a bit too much, you know. Of course, in Minecraft, rose bushes do in fact grow in the forests, but yeah, I am not particularly a fan, so I'm going to get some of these down in our next time in the, I would say the final time lapse that we're going to do for the back area. I feel like we've had enough cuts and time lapses and stuff. So yeah, let's get some lilies of the valley going. And of course finish building all of the trees as well. However, I'm going to get on with it after I look at this big discussion that's happening on Discord just as I happen to be recording. Alright, let's get back to it. Alright, I think we've had a little bit more success here. So as you can see, I've put in a couple of ash trees, and I think they're almost in the perfect position. And the reason why I like them is because I feel like I want the flowers to be visible from the ground. Seems like a very nice thing to be able to see, you know. But from the sky, they're actually not that visible, which is good because it means they don't massively stand out. They're just like a little tiny bit of white every now and again. As you cycle around, you just might see them poking out. And then we also built one over here, which is more just to fill the space and complete the build. Now, I feel like we do have a little bit more work to do here, including the fallen tree, which we haven't managed to get to yet. But for the time being, I think I want to have a nice big cut. Next thing we'll see is a little interaction with Crumb. But in the meantime, before he appears, I'll just finish off this area here. I'll bring the rest of this round. I don't really see the point in showing more of what I've already been doing. And yeah, should be a good jump of progress next. Hello, Crumster. How's it going, bro?
Hello, hello.
Long time no see. So I'll hop down the bottom to show you my cunning plan that I think is very cool.
Alright.
So I've got a little tiny bit of land here that feels like it could do with a tree. And I feel like it maybe collapsing across the river might be a cool little thing. But
okay.
Wanna know your thoughts? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I definitely think that'd be a great idea. And it could be a nice little bridge between our builds. maybe instead of like a man-made bridge, I mean, we could still have one of those, but just something to connect them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love that idea.
The thing is I'm not sure which type of tree to do, because obviously it needs to be one of the tall ones. So obviously an oak isn't going to work very well, but either one of these tall spruce ones, or maybe even the like azalea ones, Spyrex. I don't know which one would be better. I guess whichever one works with your block palette would be better.
I mean, either one would probably work for me.
So,
I mean, it just depends on how much leaves you want on it, I guess.
I'll probably go for like minimal leafage because, you know, it's fallen down, it's going to be decaying and stuff, but either way, it will be minimal leafage. I guess it's more about the log color. It matters more whether you want oak or acacia.
I mean, I feel like acacia gives off the vibe that it's already had time to decay because it's already kind of got that like grayed out look.
Yeah, that's true.
Whereas oak kind of feels more fresh.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. I hadn't thought about that. Yeah. All right. Very nice. Can't wait to see what you're doing with the back here, because you told me a little bit, but obviously I'm not going to leak what you had in mind. But yeah, no. Hopefully our bases will kind of mold together nicely. With this connection will look very, very nice. But
hopefully, yeah.
Good talk. I will
probably
build this probably tomorrow. It's a little bit late for me, but yeah. See you, bro.
Alright, good talking.
We are back again in the greater world, and this time I've got something interesting to show you guys. So I've been thinking about making some kind of like concrete converter-y, blast chamber-y thing. And I kind of had a look at a lot of different designs, tried to design my own thing, and eventually this was what I came up with. Obviously there's no storage system beneath it yet. Over here you can see all my failed tests and things. But no, the main thing about this is that it's good. It's made by, I say made, it's inspired by a guy called Fortune 8 Diamond. There will be a link in the description to the video, his channel, you know, all of that stuff. But the thing about this is this just like a really heavily simplified version of what he made. So I'll show you what it does and kind of how it works. So if I drop into here, you can see I'm crouched and I can place stuff against these leaves. They'll get pushed down and then I'll get blown up. So what I can do is I can switch on the fan like this. It's pretty loud, but I should be able to yell over the top of it. Line myself up and then hold down. And there we go. See that I am placing stuff. I'm fairly certain that if I come out of this, then we can see it's working perfectly. And it's literally just a generator that uses just TNT. It's great. And we can swap over and we can use this instead. And works perfectly as well. And honestly, this is a really, really, really nice design. Super helpful. Very stable, doesn't blow itself up at any time, it doesn't use minecarts, it doesn't use anything like that, and then these blocks here will simply be collected and then thrown in storage, which is perfect. So what we'll do is I will build this in I will build this in Whimsicraft, and I don't think it warrants a time lapse. It's not a particularly incredible thing, but yeah. It's going to be pretty awesome. The only thing with this is it does require an auto clicker, which is what I'm using at the moment. But I think it's okay. Alright, let's go and build this. Well, this is a little bit of a predicament, isn't it, everybody? Yeah, so this farm I designed in Creative, plopped into Whimsicraft, and due to server ping, the TNT exploded a little bit too early and damaged me, which was a bit of a shame, so I tried to retrofit the farm, do a tiny bit of change live on stream, and killed myself. So, and also blow up the farm, you know, that's a given. But yeah, so that means that today, unfortunately, this farm will be not existing. I know it would be cool to get it all working and come back from the brink of death to repair it, but unfortunately, I do not have the time this week. I just passed my driving theory test, so was out on the day that I wanted to complete this. But yeah, we'll get it done next episode instead. Okay, let's jump back to the base and show off the completed thing and have another yap, because we've been doing a lot of that this episode. Alright, let's go. I think we have been extremely successful. Look at this. I think this is one of the cooler additions to the base that we've made so far. When I first started it, I literally just, acacia log down the middle, and I was like, this is not looking quite so good. And I was wrong. After adding all the details, all the moss, all the lichen, I kind of went really overboard with the lichen, but I think it's the correct choice because this tree is going to be decaying, and lichen is one of those things that feels like it should be growing. And if I zoom out a bit, you can see that I actually included like the shape of the tree, but flat. And I think it's come out quite well. Initially, I didn't actually have that many leaves around, but scattering them out like this has made a really big difference. And yeah, I'm really, really happy with how this has turned out. Obviously, there's like a big volume of leaves here, because the ones on the top of the tree, like imagine it was 3D, like the ones on this end as it falls would like collapse onto the top. So I've got these ones here as well, and I think that works very nicely. And yeah, I think I do want to have a nice little zoom out. It's also night, so we get a good amount of atmospherics in this area. I genuinely think this is one of the better areas of the base. No, phantoms. What's the zombie? So Duckies is here. Hello. But yeah, let's zoom out once again. Whoops. And yeah, I do think this is one of the better parts of the base. Obviously, it's the back, which is pretty unfortunate, but I really think that everything about this is much improved. I feel like over time I've got much better at building the trees. Especially this time, I was very conscious of everything about the trees and exactly how I wanted them to look. And I think it's really worked. I also like how different this is. Over there, the trees are very uniform in their distribution. There's no empty canopy or anything like that. But over here, it's much more different. There's this open space with the flowers, and like you can see the coastline a bit more, and this tree kind of overhangs, which is a new one, by the way. I just thought I'd throw another one in quickly. There was a space. I was like, yeah, ripe space for a little oak, and it's worked pretty well. I also did some editing of the space over here. It's not massively noticeable, but it was a bit patchy, so I kind of evened it out a little bit, which I'm a fan of. I also put some buttons in. I thought something was missing when I was, like, obviously before I record a clip like this, I make sure that it doesn't look terrible. And I couldn't figure out, there was something a bit slightly off with it. And yeah, it was a lack of buttons, which I've now rectified. I think it looks very, very nice. This tree's also cool because it's kind of like coming into the water a little bit. I think that's super important to connect this area, is to have things kind of sinking into the water, whether that's a bush or some tree roots or whatever it is. Now, yeah, I don't think Crumb has actually seen this tree yet, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw a sign down for him. And I'm literally just going to say, feel free to change me. Because this is not my land, it's Crumb's land. And yeah, I'm not entirely sure what his plans are. We haven't leaked it yet, as you saw in the previous clip. And yeah, I think it's come out really, really well. But yeah, this is in fact everything that I have planned for today's episode. And it was kind of a weird one for me. It's kind of was quite rushed. I had like not as much time as I hoped for, as I said before. But I think what we did actually turned out super, super well. What I'd love you guys to do, if you made it this far in the video, is to leave a comment and tell me what you thought about the style of video breaking up the time-lapse into lots of bits, or whether you prefer a more satisfying, larger time-lapse. That'd be really cool to know. But anyway, people, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a like, subscribe to all that fantastic stuff. All you people watching to the end are very, very awesome. And yeah, next time we're going to be working more on this area, and I also want to work on an area that I kind of didn't get to. It was over here. I want to have even more flowers, because I think that'll be very pretty indeed. Alright people, bye everyone, bye! Bye guys, bye!